What's up, everyone? Kevin Oak here. I'm getting ready to do this Q&A. I actually just woke up. Still got eye boogers. My eyes are kind of swollen. I think I'm a bit under the weather at the moment, but let's get this shit going. First question: what's the best way to cut weight without sacrificing so much strength? Um, Obviously, it's like kind of like a relative question. Anytime you cut weight, any amount of weight, you start kind of, I guess, risking losing strength. But in my opinion, I guess just using the least amount of things to cut water weight would be the best way to answer that question. Basically, if you can solely just manipulate water without like using like diuretics or just getting too extreme, that's kind of like your best bet. I guess to be more specific, I mean, if you can simply just water load and then just pee out as much of that water as possible without having to sweat, without using diuretics or anything like that, and then being able to get that water back on and getting at least to a minimum of where you started body weight wise. That's kind of your best way of not losing strength. Next question. Best exercise for somebody whose shoulders overpower upper chest, so the upper chest is lagging. Um, Depends, I guess, what reason you're asking for. If you're asking for powerlifting and you're trying to increase your bench press, I would say the best thing to do would be a wider grip bench press. Something I did that actually helped me back when I was stuck at kind of 450 every competition was I started doing half reps where I'd come down and pause on my chest and then I would try to squeeze my chest as hard as I could, although it's not very specific, but I would try to take my arms and my shoulders out of the motion and just squeeze my chest as much as I could to get the bar moving. Doing that over and over for a ton of reps helped me just learn how to use my chest more effectively, which in turn helped develop my chest. Best exercise for increasing grip strength. Again, if you're specifically asking this for powerlifting, the best thing I've noticed to increase my grip strength would be going double overhand on deadlift as heavy as you can. I've actually found that this helps more than pulling heavy in general with a mixed grip. I guess to be more specific, what I would do is in all of my warm up sets on deadlifts, for the most part, I usually get as heavy as I can using a double overhand grip. Usually that gets me to around like 500, 550. And I've noticed that using that weight, the 500, 550, but doing it double overhand, will actually help my grip strength more so than doing a max effort deadlift with a mixed grip of, say, 750 to 800 pounds. That's something I've noticed. I've noticed it with other people as well. So try that out. What would be your best advice to novice intermediate lifters? Um, Biggest thing I notice with new lifters is, I guess, just being a little more patient and just being diligent about everything involved in the sport. It's not as simple as just coming in and lifting as hard as you can. You kind of a lot of the times have to take a step back and just try to figure out all the other little things involved, just like things like mobility, things like working on technique. Technique is huge. Technique is definitely something that you may not notice helping you right away, but it's something down the road that will help you a lot. What was one of your most memorable meets you competed in and why? Probably the first World Unity I went to. I've been to two of them so far. The first one I went to was World Unity 7. And that was like the first big powerlifting competition I went to. I think, I had started competing in July of that year, or July of the year before, technically, because World Unity is in February. But when I went there, I just remember having that, like, kind of like, holy shit feeling, like, everybody's fucking breaking world records. Like, I think the first world record that went down that I saw was like Jesse Norris. I think he did like 1900 plus at 198 for no knee wraps. So I just remember it was like Jesse Norris broke world records. Then Dan Green came up and he did like 2100 at 220 with no wraps. And I was like, it's fucking crazy. Like I'm over here just trying to do like 1900 at the time. But and then Milanichev squat like 1014 and I was like, the fuck? It looked like he was gonna throw the squat bar into the stands. So that was kind of my first like huge experience in powerlifting, just being around so many top level guys, and it's pretty cool. Some guys say he likes turtles. It's good to know. How much frequency do you implement in your training? I'm not sure which frequency you're talking about. I don't know if you're talking about just how much variety do I implement, but I guess I'll just break it down all the way. For the most part, I train 3 days a week, sometimes four, but it's rare. Sometimes a fourth day would be a shoulder day or a second bench press day. But for the most part, I have a squat day, a bench press day, and a shoulders day. The reason I do that is because when I do go to 4 days, I've noticed that it doesn't actually help me increase strength. I usually stay, I still make the same steady improvements. But if I work out more, for me, because I'm kind of a hard gainer, I'll actually usually start losing weight. Funny enough, because I guess just because when I'm in the gym for one, I usually eat less on those days because I'm in the gym for like 4 or 5 hours. And just for me, because I'm a hard gainer, I pretty much want to do as little activity as possible. I especially don't want to do more activity than I need to because it's just gonna burn more calories and I'm just gonna lose weight. How the fuck did you go from sprinter to Hulk? Also, how fast can you still run your events from back in the day? So I didn't really go from sprinter to like powerlifter. I guess it seems that way to a lot of people. I ran all the way through college. I was a Division I runner at Villanova University. So I actually ran my last competition the same day as graduation. So I started running when I was 22. After that, I started working in finance, and I was still just kind of lifting weights because just in New York City, it's really hard to really do anything else. Like the easiest thing to do is just run into the gym. There are gyms everywhere, but in terms of like being able to actually get on a track, it's just very difficult, especially working a lot of hours. So that's kind of like still my main outlet, I guess, for doing anything athletic or active. So I just kept kind of lifting weights, um, and I just kind of kept getting stronger and stronger. I wasn't very big when I graduated. I was like 185, 190 ish. But I would always just keep lifting weights, and for a couple of years, I just kept getting stronger and stronger. Like my squat kept going up. I ended up getting up to like around the 700 squat. I ended up benching, with the huge cheater bench, bouncing off your chest and all that shit. I was benching over 450. I was deadlifting in the 600. So, it got to a point where people always kind of ask me, like, dude, like, what do you compete? Like, what the fuck? Like, people don't really see that in gyms often, I guess. So, that's kind of how I transitioned to powerlifting after a while. I had stopped working in finance. I had more time on my hands, and it just made sense. It was kind of like, well, I guess I should just go and compete. Like, I got a little time now, and I'm strong. And it seemed, I started looking at numbers out there, and I was like, oh, I guess I can be pretty competitive. So, fuck it, why not compete? And then I entered my first competition when I was 27, I believe, because it was in July of that year. My birthday's May 9th. So, yeah, there was actually like a 5 year gap in between competing in track and competing in powerlifting, to be specific. Um, when do you do trap bar deadlifts if you include front squats, back squats, barbell deadlifts in your routine? So I don't really do trap bar deadlifts anymore. I found out that was kind of another exercise that just displays strength for me in terms of actually building strength, because it is compared to a regular deadlift, it takes out your lower back for me specifically, which is my weakest point of deadlift. So specifically training trap bar deadlifts a lot wouldn't really be beneficial to me. It does overload your upper back, which was good, but again, that's not really where I have issues in deadlifts. So I don't really do trap bar deadlifts anymore. Only time I would is if maybe I had a lower back injury, so it kind of helped me still keep weight on the bar while I was still building back up to strengthen my lower back. What's your diet consist of? Me, like I said before, I am kind of a hard gainer, so I can't really eat that clean because I'm honestly just not gonna eat like 10 pounds of chicken a day to be able to eat clean and get the amount of calories I need. And I tend to eat a lot of pasta. Um, what else? A lot of rice, a lot of chicken, a lot of beef. I like ground beef. Um, Let me think. I mean, today I guess I'll probably go soon. I'll get a sandwich from a deli across the street, which will be like 7 eggs, bacon and cheese on a nice hero roll. Later on, I might get some baked ziti. I'm thinking. I'm definitely thinking today's a baked ziti day, since it's an off day from the gym, and that's just what I feel like getting. Tonight I'm thinking a lot of ice cream. Try to keep my calories up at the moment. And what else? I don't know. Just honestly, I just eat pasta day in and day out. That's my go-to. What are your preferred assistance movements for adding mass to your legs? Legs, squats, period, end of the day. They're like the best. They're the best at adding mass. Especially if you're a powerlifter, that's just gonna be your go-to exercise. If you're a bodybuilder, I can't really answer for bodybuilders. There are some pros in my gym. I see them leg press a lot, just heavy reps with short time intervals. So probably squats and then leg press. If you're a sumo deadlifter, that probably adds a lot of leg mass as well. The sumo deadlifting is very similar to a squat to begin with, and it'll obviously also add a lot of back strength and hopefully upper back mass. What is your favorite lat workout? Favorite lat workout? Um, I guess not including deadlifts, it would be between doing very high reps on close grip cable rows and doing meadows rows. Those would be my two go-to lat exercises. I'm also like a wide grip pull down. I used to do a lot of those when I was trying to build up my back. Can we hit the iron and then go to the strip club? I mean, I'm definitely not gonna say no to that unless you're a weirdo or something. I got a question about squats. How often do you go heavy, and how much assistance work do you do? Um, Depends what you say heavy, I guess. Me, I don't really squat relatively heavy in the off season. Like right now, it's kind of off season for me with my squat and deadlift. But when I'm close to a meet, I mean, within the last 6 to 8 weeks of a meet prep, I easily squat over 90% every single week. So hopefully that answers it. Oh, in general, I squat once a week, like I said earlier. Best stretch to loosen up hips before squatting. It kind of depends exactly where you tighten your hips. Is it your hip flexors? Is it your inner thighs? Is it kind of your lower back that's making you feel tight in your hips? But I did put up a YouTube video a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, showing most of my stretching routines. So I'll just start with that and try to do some of those exercises and see what works. Somebody asked where them 2:30 a.m. picks at. Unfortunately, guys, I don't bounce and do security at the strip club anymore. So the 2:30 a.m. picks for the most part are dead at this point. I apologize to my fans. Is there a particular reason why you squat high bar, or is it just what you have always done? The reason I squat high bar is because I've been squatting since I was 16. Like I told you guys, I was a runner. So I always squatted high bar. I didn't even know what low bar was until I started competing in powerlifting within the last year or two. So my body at this point, I'm 29. So for 13 years, I've been doing high bar. And I also just happen to have very tight shoulders. So I'm very quad dominant. I got tight shoulders. I don't have a very strong lower back. High bar just fits me very well. It's kind of it's pointless. I've done low bar before. I did get through most of a training cycle doing low bar. And what I found for the most part was it's a lot easier on my lower body, but the risk on my upper body, because I really just can't arch my upper back, was just, it seems like if I were to train it for a long period of time,